Welcome back. This is day 2 of Axiom Illumination, the geometry of influence. I'm a little bit later than I anticipated, and hopefully my audio is okay because I am in this sunroom and it's a little bit windy today and there is some work outside. But I love this room and I love the trees, and it is kind of closed off, and my homeschooler is just outside of the glass door. So we have a lot to cover over the next 4 days together, and I shared a lot yesterday of my testimonial and what to expect over the next few days, but I just want to really prepare you. I don't know how long these sessions are going to take me to get through these because we've added a bit of new content. I try to move through them as quickly as I can because your time is valuable. I appreciate every one of you that showed up yesterday and engaged, watched the live, even if you caught it live or on replay, sent messages saying how much you loved it, how inspirational it was, and then those of you who took advantage of the update to the caption after I went live, saying, encouraging you rather to go live yourselves. And a few of you took advantage of that. So that's very exciting. And I love that. And I love the energy that's building in this container. And we want to keep that energy up and that frequency high moving forward because that's what's going to bring us results. So I'm working with 2 sets of notes today. I've got my master notes on my laptop. And in just a second, I'm going to pull it up and make sure I can see you on my Facebook Live, your comments. That seemed to work really well yesterday. But I also have my mini notes, which I advise all the clients to do this. Success leaves clues. Even 5 years in, I do this, where I have my master notes, or I know what I'm going to cover and teach, but I have a little itinerary, essentially, right? So that I make sure that I stay on topic, because when we're storytelling, it can be easy to forget where we left off or get back to what the point of that story was, right? So today is going to be pretty much a illumination of what are the actual struggles that you guys are facing. So I've done extensive market research on this, and I've come prepared. I actually have an entire folder of just research and data. And if you are an entrepreneur, I highly recommend, number 1, making sure that you have a pen and paper handy, and then something to drink so that you don't have to step away and catch the replay if you're able to watch live, and take notes, okay? You're gonna have a lot of, sorry, I'm having just a bit of an issue with the Wi-Fi, but I think we're okay. Anytime that happens, I'll just pause and stop talking until it comes back so you won't miss anything. So, the most important thing is understanding. Oh gosh, we might be in a Wi-Fi outage again. This already happened to us once this week. I see my little one coming. Okay. It looks like the TV is working out there though. Okay. So having notes is really, really potent. Give me just a second, guys. Sorry about that. We will be editing these out for you too. So to this day, I still have my clients do this. Get your notes prepared of what you want to talk about, because when you're in that energy in that moment, it can definitely be easy to get off of track. So I'm going to be sharing some data with you just so that you can really get a clear picture as a collective and start to reframe your mindset around what you think success looks like, the timeline getting there, and also create some normalcy around what we're doing, right? And the struggles that you might be facing. So on top of these statistics, I have the market research that we've actually run from our audience. And those are the direct things that I want to be delivering to you guys within this workshop, are the exact same things. And so my subscribers really helping us decide what we were going to do with this masterclass as far as what we were adding in this year with running it. And I'm really, really excited about it. So it's already 12:20 in the United States Eastern Standard Time. Let me just go in here really quick and make sure that I am showing up and can see your comments. This happened yesterday where I could not see the live at first. So I guess I'll just leave it open for a second. If somebody can comment, if you have commented and I'm not seeing it, I apologize. And I'll just get started. Hopefully I'll be able, oh, well, that's yesterday's live. Let me refresh it. And then I'll just go back to my notes and I'll check again in a sec, guys, and see, so that we can get this moving. There we go, I refreshed it. Okay, I can see it. Let me see if I can see your comments. I can see, but it doesn't look like there's any comments. I know I'm a little bit later than normal. So let me go back to my notes. So first of all, did you know that 87% of clients, if they have purchased from you in the past, they are 87% more likely to purchase from you in the future? So I want you to start blocking out all that noise about high ticket, low ticket, and I want you to rethink your structure. So today we're going to be going over statistics and issues in real time. I'm going to be covering the upper limit. We're going to talk about the alignment and the embodiment as far as anchoring in the voice with truth and resonance. And then if we have time, I'm going to get into the high frequency offer creation, because I really want you guys to have that portion of it so that you can jump into tomorrow your 30 days of priming your audience. So show me some fire in the chat if that sounds exciting, and then I'll share more about what we're going to go over tomorrow depending on how much of this I get through today. So I'm hoping to be here until about 11:24 or a little bit shy of that. So I'm going to move as quickly as I can. So if you have any comments, place them in the chat. Let me know you're here. But let's go over the key statistics and the reality of social media struggles for entrepreneurs, healers, course creators, mystics. First of all, we are so in tune with energy, but some of us are often still carrying a nervous system upper limit block or even a money belief. Show me dollar signs in the chat if you feel like you have a money belief when it comes to maybe talking about pricing a high ticket package. Did you know that it takes just as much energy to sell a low ticket offer as it does a high ticket offer? When I learned that, I immediately had to package up a high ticket offer. Now, today, again, I'm not saying you have to have a high ticket offer, but I'm going to explain that more when we get to offer creation. So almost the universal struggle of all entrepreneurs, besides the fact that most businesses fail within the first 2 years, like 97%, 93% of small businesses report facing at least one significant social media challenge. Now, this typically comes down to them just generally not using social media precisely, consistently, or correctly, right? So something I can see is that in the 5 years since I started, I have watched so many good coaches have to leave their coaching practice and go back into a 9-to-5. And it is like the most brutal thing to watch as a business entrepreneur, especially as one who gives this strategy away for free several times a year. The top challenges are generating high quality leads, which is about 20% of entrepreneurs face that issue. Gaining new followers, which is about 19%. Increasing engagement, 17%. Posting consistently, which is 12%, which we talked about. And I honestly feel like that number might even be a little bit higher. And content creation, aka that content that converts and that aligned, embodied content. And that's what I'm going to be teaching you when we go over the content strategy and the launch strategy. But today you really need to get clear on what is holding you back. If it comes to content, what's the excuse that keeps coming up, right? So a lot of businesses, more than half, 54%, report that they struggle to produce enough content to support multiple media channels. The way that we combat this in our business is the first 6 months to a year in business, I only want you building one to two platforms, 3 max. Pick one main platform, build it up, we monetize it, and then from there what we do is it becomes super easy to just repurpose the best performing content from that first platform into a second or a third and start creating that omnipresence. But too many people try to create that omnipresence up front and then they are burned out, they're confused, because number one, every single platform has a different algorithm. So unless you have a mentor who has spent hundreds of hours studying each individual platform's algorithm, which I don't know if anybody's told you guys, but these platforms don't exactly tell us the secrets, right? It takes people who have immaculate pattern recognition who find joy in it, okay? And then hopefully they're good people and they have white hat marketing and they pass it on down to others. 56% find it difficult to prioritize social media use. I believe that this directly comes down to an alignment and an embodiment issue and a nervous system issue. So when we hit that upper limit and we've never held that capacity, we can't hold it, right? It's like trying to fill a bucket that has holes in it with water. And so until we patch those holes and fill the leaks, we're going to feel depleted, because if we're not in alignment, we're not going to be tapping into that clarity and again, that coherence. Let me get a heck yeah in the chat if this is making sense and you're picking up what I'm putting down. According to a survey by the Big Small Business in 2023, 56% of small business owners said being consistent with marketing is a huge challenge. ROI and confidence issues affect 60% of business owners because it's hard to attribute sales to social media if you don't have a repeatable system and structure. Okay, so this is why my clients are able to actually track growth month by month by month with our launch system. The fourth biggest issue that entrepreneurs face is the dependence and the overwhelm. So 41% of small local businesses said they depend on social media to drive revenue. So they're not tapping into those aspects and forms of passive income. They're not taking the opportunity to scale their offers. They're probably not looking at high ticket offer. And what will happen is, again, they hit that upper limit. 61% of small business owners in a later survey said that marketing is overwhelming. Let me know in the chat if you have felt overwhelming. You don't know what to post. I get asked a lot, what time do I post? Friend, post whenever it's convenient for you. If it is 9 p.m., if it is 8 p.m., if it is 7:30 in the morning, if it is 2 p.m. Social media market research, again, says as a general rule, most people are online between 11 and 2 p.m. Now, recently, my algorithm, through having hundreds of pieces of trackable content, I was able to see that 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. are really great times for my audience. And so I've been playing around with scheduling out content at those times, and I'm having great success with it. So, digital presence reality check, okay? So 96% of small businesses do use social media as part of their marketing, but many don't have the time to maintain it properly. And only about 58 to 60% of small businesses have fully embraced digital marketing in 2024. So there is a hidden cost to social media hustle. Imagine a coach named Maya. She was deeply gifted, intuitive, compassionate, and has transformed the lives of dozens of people through her courses. But when it comes to social media and her online presence, she feels like she's lost in a maze. Every week she posts on Instagram, writes heartfelt copy, records reels, and tries to engage, but she never quite felt sure if what she was doing was working. She believes in her message, but her revenue doesn't reliably reflect that. This is a true case study. She's not alone. 93% of small business owners, just like Maya, are wrestling with social media challenges. They are back and forth. And so this will look like not seeing the results, leading to burnout, feeling like it's a scam, feeling like everybody's just wanting to take their money. And it can really start to trigger those old wounds and disrupt our nervous system. So Maya's reality check, backed by data. One of the biggest battles is generating real leads. About 20% of small businesses name lead generation as their top struggle. And what I'm going to be teaching you in this masterclass eliminates that gap. If you show up and you actually pick up what I'm putting down, you are going to drive sales. You are. It isn't just about burnout. It's about a deep tension, okay? When we feel like we have to stay on social media just to be visible, yet the system doesn't reliably reward us, our heart-centered message often gets lost in the algorithm, and we start to wonder if we are playing someone else's game, right? It feels like there's some kind of a puppet master. Everybody else is seeing success online. Why are we not? So this truth, the axiom, many healers and creators are trapped in a social media paradox. Presence does not guarantee profit, okay? I know people who have 100,000 followers, 300,000 followers, and they struggle to see consistent revenue, and they still have to work a 9-to-5. That's not necessarily value. The awareness axiom, when we're creating from alignment, meaning our message, our mission, and our transformation is all in aligned, we must also allow designing our social media to reflect that. It needs to support sustainable business and not only visibility, right? So we're not here to chase views and followers. I'm still considered a micro creator. I have received thousands of dollars in brand collabs this year alone. I receive clients. I have received opportunities like being published in a $2,500 project for no cost. I've been invited to documentaries with people like Joe Vitale, Joe Dispenza, world-renowned meditation practitioner and neuroscientist. There's a path between the hustle, one where you use social media more intentionally and not reactively. With clarity, you can reclaim your energy and reduce the burnout, while building a strategy that actually converts. And so we know this about shadow work. We're essentially applying shadow work to our business. Okay, it gives me goosebumps literally to say that. Looking at the truth that these are high numbers, right? These struggles are real. I didn't just pull these up. Having the statistics and the awareness of our upper limit, like what, not only what is the upper limit, but what is our upper limit. Okay, so let's go into that. And I don't want you guys to be Maya, right? I don't want all of my clients to be coming to me completely burned out. I want them to be activated, inspired, and ready. And so it has to be rooted in who we truly are. And everybody's energy is going to be different. Everybody is going to have a varying energy throughout the day, right? Some days you might have 3 spoons of energy. Some days you might have 12. And this strategy allows you to structure in that way that's going to allow that frequency to have the coherence that is non-negotiable. So let's get into the upper limit. Let me just get this. So we went over this not that long ago. I did a mini workshop in Work Your Light about this. So if you didn't catch it, that's okay, because we're going to go through what we went through and more. Welcome, Dom. Let me just go and see comments. Okay, I've got some messages coming through. I'm going to get back to you guys later on those. Same pains. Dom says he gets so tired of posting and then stops and loses interest. So all my clients do that. All the student, everybody's done that. I'm probably the only psychotic person who's never done that. But I've also written into my framework. Yeah, the scam trigger. I've got it written into my framework, the breaks. So I take summer off. And so, for example, I think I might have shared this yesterday. This masterclass is probably one of the last masterclass that I host for this year. This sales launch will set me up for what I'm going to be doing in Q1 in my business. And so I want you to start restructuring your business, changing that belief system of what a business has to look like, and that you have to hustle, hustle, hustle. Does it require you to push and show up and be consistent? Is it going to test you? Yeah. Are you going to have everything you need to push through that? Yes. So the upper limit is it's not just in high ticket sales, but we really see it come up a lot in sales, but it's a lot in entrepreneurship, and it can even happen in our day-to-day life and relationships. And it's the unconscious threshold where someone's nervous system has reached the capacity of what it can hold. And this can be good and bad. So when it's bad, we will start to see disease set in. When it's good, we could still see reoccurrence of flare-ups. We could see outrageous spending. We could see old addictions emerge. We could see shrinking and backing down and playing small instead of continuing forward and putting the correct support in place. It's usually not about the strategy or the skill when we're talking about the nervous system, okay? You guys are qualified. You guys know this data in and out. It's just a new level of it that we need to bring our awareness to. So let's get into the actual psychology. You guys, I'm a nerd. I'm a lifelong student. I'm a learner. Everything I bring to you is going to be rooted in science as well as esoteric wisdom. And if there's ever a time where I'm bringing something to you that I can't prove by science but is only esoteric, I will make that disclaimer. So psychologically, the upper limit is tied to our self-image, and it is deeply rooted and engraved in our belief system around our worthiness. So a great indicator is to look at shame, safety, and possibility. What do you believe is actually possible for you? This is actually our ego's way of pulling us back and keeping us safe. And in men and women, this is a bit different in how this presents. In women, I want you to actually push into the ego, which we'll talk more about. So even if it's less than what you want, the ego will still try to protect you, okay? It doesn't care about goals. It doesn't care about the future. It only cares about the present moment, and it's operating from its past data coding. Essentially, you're like a supercomputer, and your physical body is the hardware. Your consciousness is the software, and we can upgrade that software. To an extent, we can also upgrade the hardware. So your field can only magnetize and sustain what it resonates with. So how many of you had been to a workshop and you get in there and immediately what the coach is teaching does not resonate? It does not feel true within your physical vessel. But you stuck it out for whatever reason, gaslit yourself, right? Because of that old wounding of the worth, that everything has to be hard, that you're going to have to work extremely hard. If your inner vibration is tuned to scarcity, struggle, or smallness, then wealth beyond that is going to feel like it's too much for your field to hold, even if this is happening on a subconscious level, right? On a conscious level, we know that the economy sucks. We see the food prices. We know that we've got to make more money. But if the physical matter doesn't believe it and it has not recalibrated to it yet, it's not going to call it in. Esoterically, this is when the soul is being asked to expand its container, to embody more light, more worth, and sovereignty, so that it can circulate more energy in the form of money, clients, and opportunities. Okay? And as you master this, it is going to come into the field. So nervous system regulation. Biologically, your nervous system equates unfamiliar expansion with danger. Success triggers the same exact fight, flight, freeze responses as a real life threat. So if your body has not been conditioned to feel safe while holding more clients, visibility, or income, it will unconsciously shut down. This is why having a mentor is so potent, because it's not a safe place to vent to your audience. It's not a safe place to vent to your paid clients. And you need a place to come back to, both inside and without. So the symptoms of this can look like panic, shutdown, sudden exhaustion, those fatigue flare-ups, resistance to receiving. You could be passive aggressive when somebody sends you a referral, for example. I've got a client that struggles with this. Or it could be your visibility, your income, and it will unconsciously shut it down, right? So I don't know what to talk about. Oh, got completely ready and could not bring myself to push play on the video. Having to cancel workshops, planning that you're going to do something for your audience and then having it come up and you have to cancel, right? Maybe you have an unbelievable period or a migraine, or you just have this fatigue flare and the mast cell activation. The upper limit is not about a lack of capacity. It's about an untrained capacity. So we've got to create safe experiences within our nervous system. Oh, that? No.
It'll take me a second.
Okay. Hang on, guys. Okay, my neighbor's leaf blowing the porch, but I think it's fine. So in practice for entrepreneurs, when entrepreneurs hit their upper limit, they might plateau in revenue despite more effort, lose clients after a huge breakthrough, feel unmotivated or overwhelmed just as the opportunities start to expand for us. I definitely experienced this. My first time going viral, I actually was so mortified by the comment section and the internet trolls that I deleted the viral videos, which gravely hurt my account going forward and took us a couple of years to recover from. So anchoring the voice in truth and resonance comes down to really getting clear on what it is that is holding you back. What is that belief system? Is it around money? Is it around what it's going to look like if you had 15, 20, 35 clients? Have you had that and that sucked and we need to rework that? This is not a failure. It's the nervous system showing us where it needs expansion and recalibration. So the key is actually not to push harder, but to regulate, expand, and rewire. So you expand your upper limit by practicing nervous system regulation. So breath work, somatic release, grounding. We can even go even deeper into that. Upgrading the subconscious beliefs around worth, wealth, and safety. This sometimes looks like, for me, it looked like charging that higher price. For me, it was like $400, $500 before it was comfortable. Visualizing myself as that confident version, and then literally like getting in a meditation, visualizing it, breathing it in, and then getting on the call with the client and executing from that space, not from the fear, the short breathing, the what if, the anxiety, this is my first client, or have I done enough work, do I know enough, right? It was moving from the place of I am affirmations. This is how we start to anchor in. And I just forgot to put one other thing in there. So, upgrading subconscious beliefs, using ritual, visualization, and energetic practices to hold more abundance in the field. Let me know in the comments, does everybody here know the geometric pattern to visualize, to manifestation? So to visualize, see it done, hold a place of gratitude, and then take aligned action. Okay? Rinse and repeat. Normalizing wealth and visibility gradually so that your system learns it's safe. So if we're starting you out at a high ticket or low ticket offer, and we're tapping into that frequency that people who buy from you are 87% more likely to buy from you again, we want to start low. You could sell something for $35 and then to one person, 3 people, that's considered proof of concept, and then you can raise the price. Do it again, raise the price. Do it again, raise the price. Until you get to a price, this is what I have done, that the audience won't buy at, right? And then we explore that. Is it a targeting issue? Is it a messaging issue? Is it a nervous system issue? But so start at what feels safe in your nervous system when it comes to pricing. The next thing that's really going to help is doing that market research. So answerthepublic.com, as well as asking your audience what they actually want. So the way that we build authority and trust, and the psychology of trust and influence in sales, building an audience that knows, likes, and trusts you goes beyond the strategy. It's about understanding how the human brain and nervous system respond to connection, tone, and energy. So every word, price, tone you use carries a frequency that communicates safety or tension in your client's body, confidence or uncertainty as well. So by learning the psychology of trust, influence, and sales, we can actually start to craft our content and our conversations that naturally invite engagement, loyalty, and aligned sales without force or performance. Does that sound good? Give me a heck yes in the comments. Let me just go and see where are we at. Okay, we're okay on time. Diane says yes. Dom, yes. Immediately just fell off. Yeah, you guys can feel it. And when we don't trust that, where are we? Authority. Okay, authority asset. When we don't trust our intuition and our gut feeling, when we let our brain lead, and in meditation, one of the first things we learn as a meditation practitioner is that the brain is a liar. It's governed by the ego, especially in men. And when we truly listen to our gut, things go amazing. When we don't, we bring ourselves more karma. We create more karmic debt. And karma just means lessons. And then we don't have to. We get the opportunity to choose through our free will if we want to transmute that into dharma. Building an audience that knows, likes, and trusts you goes beyond strategy. It's about understanding the human brain and the... Oh, I already said this. Sorry. Every single thing down to the pricing matters. Okay? Ask for genuine feedback. You guys can write this down. When you ask your audience for their honest opinions or advice, this is a form of market research. There's something also that happens beneath the surface because on a subconscious level, it signals that you value their insight, that their voice matters to you, and this small act of inclusion builds trust and strengthens the relational bond between you and your audience. Psychologically, people feel more connected to those who seek their input. It activates a sense of belonging and mutual respect. And two of the most potent ingredients for long-term engagement. Sorry, I just scrolled way down on my notes unintentionally. Come on, Google Doc. Two of the most potent ingredients for long-term engagement and loyalty. So, number 2, using off numbers in our pricing builds trust. When it comes to pricing, perfection can actually repel trust. Rounded numbers like $100, $500, it feels too polished. And the small variations of irregular numbers appear more thoughtful and genuine. So like $97, $483. These small variations signal that your price has been calculated and not inflated. And so a little bit of science behind this, because I told you I like to share my process. Behavioral economists have found that the human brain subconsciously associates off numbers with honesty and precision. So this is actually known as the charm pricing effect, where prices ending in 7, 8, and 9 feel more authentic and accessible. So an action step for you as we move now into offer creation Adjust your offers and pricing to include non-rounded numbers. So instead of $100, $97. Instead of $1,000, $987. Instead of $250, $248. Is this making sense? A tone tip is to use intentionally, not manipulatively. Okay? The energy behind your pricing should always be grounded in value and transparency. Okay? What is it actually worth? What is your time truly worth? Not from a place of ego, not from a place of, well, this is what Jessica's charging after 17 years of learning. This is what my coach is doing, right? What resounds as true in your physical vessel? What feels safe? Offer creation on Black Friday. I do not want you. Here's the thing. Consumers are more mindful than ever. And I tell you this every year, but this year is different. You guys can feel it. People are not buying something brand new that they've never heard of. They're not buying ultra highly priced packages that don't have the value. People are buying the things that they've had their eye on all year. Okay? If they're not buying it for somebody else, they're buying it for themselves. And so this time of year is really about getting coherent and coming back to the medicine. So, looking at what is your best converting offer, and rather than slashing your price, I want you to think about beefing it up and adding even more value. What else do you have that already exists that you could add to it? Do you have an ebook? Do you have a workshop that's already fully automated? Do you have another program that you could bundle these two together? Your top selling program and then a program that's maybe newer or is equally effective but is not one that is necessarily, sorry about that, or that people know about. Or maybe you've got some case studies that have ran through it, right? Maybe you have a physical book. Maybe you have a physical product and you could do a sample with that product. With the full size, they get a sample of another product. You could bundle products together. This is really, really potent. So you need to be running the market research and giving people what they want, blended with what are you really, really good at. Not necessarily in the beginning, what are you passionate about? Okay, this is a huge mistake that people make. But rather, what do people want from you? What are they actively saying that they want from you right now? Speaking in a lower and calmer tone. Your tone communicates long before your words do. A grounded, low voice signals confidence, safety, and authority. 3 things the human nervous system instinctively seeks when deciding whether to trust from someone. And it all comes down to our sound resonance. I truly believe that if you are doing the work to present the content that is going to convert and you're having the right conversations, you are going to see a result. Clients are coded to us on a cellular level through sound resonance. And again, that's really woo-woo. I'm probably 10 years ahead of my time on that. The science insight behind this is that studies in psycholinguistics show that lower vocal tones actually activate the parasympathetic nervous system and the body's rest and digest mode. So this calms the listener's subconscious mind and it helps them feel more relaxed and receptive. I've got a couple clients, and I actually work on this myself, that are quite nasally, and them just lowering their tone has substantially improved their visibility and the conversion into their launches. In contrast, the higher pitched rushed speech can trigger mid-stressed responses, signaling uncertainty and tension. And in sales, this translates to one simple truth. People buy when they feel safe in your presence, energetically, emotionally, and psychologically. So, an action step is to be, before going live, recording or speaking with clients, I shared a little bit about this earlier, take a deep breath and consciously lower your tone. Speak slightly slower than feels natural, letting silence hold space between key points. If you are someone that says a lot, if you say or pause or say like, this is something I want you to do, is practice slowing down in your speech. Let your energy do the selling. The more grounded your delivery, the more authority and trust you convey without even needing to push. And so when I give you the content strategy, I want you to be thinking about this. I want you to have this in your notes. Tip 4 is to speak directly to you on camera. This core principle is that when we use the word you frequently, you shift the focus from yourself to your viewer. It creates an immediate sense of personal connection, making your audience feel seen, heard, and included. This small linguistic choice, I'm talking to you, not at you. That's what that signals in their subconscious, right? We're not telling them. We are allowing them to be invited in. Neuro-linguistic studies show that using direct address engages the mirror neurons in our audience's brains. So these neurons help people feel as if they're speaking directly to us, increasing attention, emotional resonance, and engagement. Psychologically, this triggers a sense of personal relevance, which is a key factor to trust building, okay? Because we don't want them to feel like we're barking and we're nagging like their dysfunctional family, right? We want them to feel that they've made this decision on their own. So I want you to start reviewing your video scripts and your posts. Highlight every time you say I and see if you can reframe that messaging into you. Here, an example is, instead of I created this system to help people grow their business, say something like, you can use this system to grow your business faster and easier. On camera, look directly at the lens as you say you. This helps to make the connection feel live and intentional. Balance is key. So overusing you can feel like pressure, but well-placed moments make your audience feel individually addressed and valued. So start practicing that. Tip 5 is to use natural movement and gesture on camera. So the core principle behind this is subtle natural movements and shifting position, leaning slightly or using your hands to emphasize points. I'm an expert in this. Keeps your audience visually engaged, and it signals energy, authenticity, and confidence without overwhelming the viewer. Humans are wired to respond to motion. So studies in cognitive psychology show that visual cues and gestures increase attention and memory retention. Hand gestures, when synchronized with speech, enhance comprehension, by activating both verbal and visual processing areas in the brain. Overly stiff and static delivery can subconsciously signal boredom and disengagement, reducing trust. We've been on this live I've got 4 people viewing. I know a lot of you are going to watch on the replay, but I want you to get good of commanding the energy of the room and also being able to keep people on. Okay? Use gentle hand motions to emphasize key points. Imagine you're illustrating your words rather than performing them. Shift your posture occasionally. Lean forward to invite connection, slightly sideways, or create dynamic framing. So this means like just having everything really centered or switching frames throughout. Welcome, Diane. You can practice in front of the mirror. Something else I have my clients do is open a private Facebook group and not add anybody in yet. And then start going live, practicing, posting content in there, rewatching your content. Look at those gaps, look at those pauses, look at those filler words, look at the delivery, look at the eye contact, look at the gestures, look at the background. We want to have a clear, well-lit space, no clutter. Having plants and greenery performs the best outside in nature. Everything I do is strategic down to today. Movement should feel fluid and intentional, not frantic. So think of it as guiding your viewers' focus, not distracting. I even wondered about wearing my holographic pimple patches today. I thought, is that going to be too much? And I thought, I'm going to take a little bit of a risk and I'm just going to do it. I'm doing a no makeup day, skincare only. I'm slathered in skincare. And I just wanted to go for it, right? Tip number 6 is to use intentional typos to spark comments. This is one that I learned through mistake, okay? I make mistakes, and I would get people commenting about my typos. I would get people messaging about my typos, and this tells the algorithm that I have content that people want and that they're engaging with it, even if they don't like it, even if they're triggered by it, right? Small deliberate mistakes make your copy or captions trigger curiosity and prompt your audience to connect and interact with it. When people spot something slightly off, their brains naturally want to correct it, and they do so by commenting. So the insight behind this is that it taps into the psychological phenomenon called the Zeigarnik effect. Zeigarnik effect, Zeigamik effect, if you would love to go and research and check the site of my source. The brain's tendency to notice incompetence or unresolved information. When your audience detects a typo, their mind wants to finish the pattern by engaging. This also creates micro interactions, boosting your content's algorithmic performance. So include a tiny typo or a quirky phrasing in your post or caption, but nothing that confuses the meaning, okay? We don't want to have a ton of like subliminal stuff and things like that. I just want you to have something like a tiny typo or a quirky phrase in your post. Like an example would be, can't wait to share this with you, or which version do you prefer, but prefer is spelled wrong. Encourage light engagement in a fun way and say, spot it, comment below. A tone tip would be to keep it playful and intentional. Don't overuse this tactic. I do tend to, on accident, over typo, and I have to be intentional not to do that. So one well-placed typo can drive engagement without eroding your credibility, because that can happen. So, does anybody have any questions about today? So we went over the statistics and issues, the upper limit, the alignment and embodiment, which we're going to be covering more of every day. Anchoring the voice with truth and resonance. The high frequency offer design Forget what you thought about creating something for Black Friday and focus on what you have that's converting. Tomorrow, we are going to go into the content that converts, the conversations that convert, the sales launch system, and I'm going to share with you my bonus sales script concept. And then we've even still got more to cover. So that's going to be a lot tomorrow. Come prepared. Let me just come and see the comment sections really quick. Awesome on the typo, Diane says. She's never done that before. A lot of us are perfectionists. You are so welcome. Private Facebook group for practicing. Hello and welcome. Let me just see. Dom says that he was going to work on shifting that I from you. That is potent, right? That is so potent. If nobody has any questions, I'm going to let you go. We are just under an hour here. Tomorrow we'll run about that, maybe a little bit over. It just depends on how I get through it. So hopefully you took notes on the key action steps of to go back and audit your content. And I want to hear from you in the comment section of this post. Tell me, what are the things that you took away from today and what are the things that you really need to look at? So is it your pricing? Is it your messaging? Is it your presence? Is it your tonality? We're going to be getting deeper into that as we progress into this. So thank you so much for participating. Today's replay is going to be up until Monday, and then all the replays are coming down. So be sure, if you didn't get to catch all of today or you're catching this on replay, hashtag replay. You can also watch these on my YouTube channel. And then I will be seeing you guys tomorrow, probably late morning. I was a little bit late today because we had some stuff, but that is going to be done with today, and we're going to be moving forward. So I'm sending you so much love, and I will chat with you soon.